All right, what's up, Internet? How y'all doing tonight? Little basketball show, our first one of the year. I think our first official basketball one of the year. We've already got a super chat. How about that? Love the cats in the house. He says, I have the flu. I am drunk. Hornomania sucks. That's not very nice. Thank you, Love the Cats, also known as Hornacious, as you might know. Yes. Appreciate your support. You're always here, man. BP says I would bag Love the Cats. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. What's going on, guys? Big win for Auburn, man. That was something. Really rough first, I don't know, 8 minutes maybe? Panicky pace of play. Strange, I'll put it to you. Curious officiating. It played more like ice hockey than it did basketball, and it just seemed like Auburn kept trying to get the ball inside, which is something they often do early in games, and things were not going well. And eventually they started driving downhill, primarily with Vaughn, and boom, things just changed. First of all, Vaughn was doing a great job getting to the rim, finishing at the rim, and then when they would close in on him and back away from other people, specifically D'Angelo in the second half, he would get the ball to D'Angelo, and he was cashing them out. D'Angelo had an 8-0 run himself in the second half, and I thought that was really the moment that took this game from – I thought Auburn had a good hold of it, but at that point really kicked Mississippi State in the balls and hurt them really bad with that run there. And D'Angelo, man, you look for it from him. You know he's got it in him. He's done this before. We know his shot is so sweet. He finally puts it together and makes it happen. We got some big super chats coming through. Brian Penn, BP Rockman. This is WDE, love you, AU basketball. BP was on the basketball bandwagon back during the days when there weren't many people on the bandwagon. Not necessarily Barbie. I mean, there was nobody on the bandwagon then, but the early Pearl years, BP was always there. So big love for him. I know it's really sweet for BP and the others who have been on the bandwagon all the way to see these kinds of victories. Joker also super chatting, says this one's for Vaughn. I completely underestimated him. I'll take my crow deep fried. We need to kind of discuss that a little bit because we had some really cold, freezing cold takes from this game tonight. Joker was one of them who started a thread saying that Vaughn was done for the night about 5 minutes into the game. And Vaughn had a career night. He finished with 28. Let's get the box score up here to take a look at the full damage report here. Yeah, Vaughn goes for 28, 9 of 17 shooting. That's a career high for him. 8 of 11 at the free throw line. If you guys remember, he was in a big-time funk the first 12 games of the season at the free throw line. He was under 50%. They decided they were going to do a hack-a-shack on him tonight when he was getting down in the lane, particularly in the second half, and he showed them that that was a bad idea. Really came through. Excellent performance for him. Also, got another super chatter from Reilly989. Appreciate your support, Reilly. Thank you very much for that. So I got to write this stuff down because this stuff's really important to me, and I appreciate it very much. Love the super chatters. I love all you guys, really, but the super chatters have a special place in my heart. Auburn alumni points out here in the chat. It says Bon Voyage GG32. So I mentioned Joker earlier with his hot take about Vaughn, and he was 100 miles off. Obviously, Vaughn, his finest moment is an Auburn Tiger, honestly, from a statistical perspective. There was a colder take, believe it or not. GG32 started a thread about 4 minutes into the game, and he said, I don't remember what the quote was, but he said, I know, fitting to get run out of the gym or fitting to get blasted or something like that. And, I mean, dude, it's like 4 minutes in, and, oh, my goodness, look at that. Spread Attack U18 coming through big time. Thank you for that huge super chat there, guys. The support is unreal. And you didn't need to do that, Spread Attack U18, because I know you got double dipped in the last show, but hey, I appreciate it. He says, our boy D'Angelo Hells, yeah, I appreciate you, Jay, putting the betas in their place today. You rule. Yeah, let me finish about that. So GG32 has the thread about we're fitting to get run out of the gym. He actually doubles down and says D'Angelo is nothing more than a warm body. Auburn comes back. Thunder's back in the first half. Gets a little close there in the second half. I want to say it was down to 1 or 2 points, but then boom, Auburn put it away. I told GG32 in that thread, if Auburn comes back, and I had a feeling that they would, I'm going to ban you. And so Auburn came back, won the game, and I banned him. So GG32 is currently banned. He is taking his ban well. I've already communicated with him about it. I don't think that he needs to be out for the whole night or anything like that, but I think that kind of beta attitude needs to be punished. I don't think we can live with that. I think it's a football mentality. I think what happens is people get so pissed off at Gus, and they think that everything that happens at Auburn is going to go the Gus way, where Auburn's going to piss away any kind of strategic advantage and get in weird ruts. Dude, BP doesn't do that. BP teaches these kids to stay tough. He rides the absolute hell out of them in practice, believe me. Now, I'm not saying every day, but when D'Angelo does lazy stuff in practice, BP stops practice and just undresses the guy with his mouth. I'm just telling you, there's no cuss word that won't be said. There's nothing that's out of bounds. I've seen him do it to Bryce back in the day, pushing Bryce to the point of tears. I'm talking about his sophomore year, and this is BP. It's a different deal, and the teams that BP has at Auburn, they don't wilt, they don't quit. Tonight is another example of the kinds of stuff that they do. There's a reason that they got to the Final Four last year. They had a really tough game against New Mexico State. They had a really tough game against North Carolina. Had a tough game against Kentucky. They get through it. And as a fan, as a supporter, you've got to sack up and wait it out. You cannot just quit. Can't do it. And GG32 is going to learn that lesson tonight. And hopefully a lot of other people will learn vicariously through his mistakes. A Joker with another super chat, man, big time. He says, hell yes, I was way off. I completely saw Vaughn falling apart after the first 5 minutes. Never again. Good for you, Joker. That's big time, buddy. And thank you very much for your support, of course. You're always here and always putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak. Really 989 says, I thought this game was big for a lot of reasons. Good confidence for our free throws and for D'Angelo. Absolutely. The free throw shooting was terrific. Before we got that huge super chat from Spread Attack, I was mentioning that Vaughn, 8 of 11 at the line today, which is outstanding. He was below 50% for the season coming in, so that's terrific. 4 assists, 5 turnovers, a lot of turnovers early for him. They were really pressuring the hell out of the ball early, and I thought it took Vaughn out of his rhythm. He wasn't able to get his reads because he had people in his face all the time. You can do that for stretches unless you've got incredible depth like 12 or 13 men. You can't stay with that. It just takes too much out of your guards. Mississippi State eventually relented a little bit. They actually had to get Vaughn out, though, early. And then Samir was kind of dealing with it for a while. But after about 10 minutes, Mississippi State backed off a little bit. And those point guards had more room to maneuver and things started turning around. I thought defense was the key to this one right here. When things were not going well, Auburn was shooting 3 of 21 at one point in the first half. 0 of 11, I think, from 3. At some point, BP's like, okay, guys, look, we don't have it tonight shooting right now. We got to buckle down defensively and just try to turn this thing into a transition game. And they absolutely did that. It turned into like ice hockey out there. The officiating was a little odd. I thought it was very lax in the first 10 minutes. It was basically anything goes out there, like YMCA ball. And Vaughn was getting knocked out of the air onto the ground a couple times, no calls. And then, but I thought it was fair on both teams. I thought they were letting it go on both sides. It wasn't just one team being persecuted. Then it got tight there late in the half. And then in the second half, same kind of deal. It was tight early, and then it got lax again. I will give it to the officials. I thought they called evenly both ways. So if they were lax on Auburn, they were lax on State. And then when they got tight on Auburn, they got tight on State. So it was tough for, I think, the players to read it because it was changing, but at least it was affecting both teams equally, and I think that's fair. We got another super chatter, Jeffrey Branch in the house. Oh, this is Davis and Tiger. It says, I keep chanting brain drain at my wife. I think she's starting to get turned on. Hey, I think we need a pic of that. No, I'm just kidding. That's what the bunker would say. Some other things that really stuck out to me here. Mississippi State goes the entire game, 23 buckets they scored, 6 assists. Now, they're not a huge team for assists because they kind of play garbage basketball, a lot of offensive rebounds. That's how they play, kind of ugly. But 6 assists on 23 made buckets is very low. Now, Auburn's 9 on 27, which is low. But we knew Auburn was, things weren't going very well for Auburn. And we're going to remember this game for the incredibly bad shooting early. I bet we don't see a cold funk like that again. I mean, to that serious of a cold funk. To go 2 of, 13? And then 0 of 11. No, it was 2 of 21. Sorry. Or 3 of 21, and then 0 of 11 from 3. That's the kind of cold funk, like an 8-minute cold funk that you just – I know Auburn's not a great shooting team, but it won't go that long. Not usually. 5 assists. Wow. That's crazy. 12 blocks for Mississippi State, but remember they had 8 in the first half. And so what was going on, Auburn was trying to feed the ball inside, and it was not going well. And what they did is the adjustment they made is they started driving downhill from the point. And at that point, Vaughn was either getting a good look to the hole, to finish at the rim, or to pull out. He actually had a few like mid-rangers, 6-8 foot shots that he was taking or hit. But then later on, when they really collapsed on him, he would just kick it out. And that helps avoid those blocks. Those are just wasted possessions when you get your shit blocked like that. Let's see other numbers. Auburn has 10 steals. That's a lot. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players end up with a steal each, at least one steal. That's insane. Poor night for the Auburn bench. I mentioned that in the stat crawl down there. The bench goes, whatever that is, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 of 9 from the floor. 2 points from the bench. Jamal, bad. Al was bad. Anthony, I thought, played better than that, but the stats don't look very good, do they? He ends up being +1 on his plus-minus, and then Devin wasn't in there very much. 6 minutes. So really it was a 5-man rotation. They slid in Anthony, so that would have made it 6 right there. Really low numbers minute-wise for Jamal and Cambridge. Interesting. Mississippi State really didn't have much going on at all offensively. They were pretty good early, and then they just got away from it. And they're not a pretty offensive team. Basically on them, you just want to rebound really hard on the defensive end. So Auburn's defensive rebounding, and I thought they stepped up in the second half in a lot of ways. 8 rebounds for D'Angelo. That's what I'm talking about, stepping up right there. 8 rebounds for Samir. You don't expect that from your shooting guard. And 8 rebounds for Okoro, who I thought had a good game too. 16 points on 5 of 9 shooting and 8 boards. That's good stuff there. 2 steals. Played 34 minutes, which is more than normal for him, and he finishes +21. Pretty damn good for him. He's just too quick. I don't think Mississippi State, even though they have some experience and some players, they could not stay in front of him consistently. He had a spin move there in the first half that I swear that was the fastest spin move I've seen in the not NBA in a long time. He just zips so fast. He's just so sudden. Stoop Up with a super chat. Thank you very much, sir, for your support. I know you're in here quite a bit, here and in the bunker. He said, glad I kept my mouth shut in the first half. Yeah, man, there were a lot of people. There's some really cold takes going down out there. Let's check up on the chats. We got Jeff Chaney in the house. Jeff C., my man. This is a very physical game, very good win, and a tough place for Auburn. Absolutely. Auburn, I think, had won 2 of their last 18 games at the hump. So, yeah, hell yeah. Keeping him eligible. Hey, what's going on, man? He says, what say ye about Anthony? Not a great game, but, I felt like just watching him on TV was doing things to help. But then you look at the stat sheet, and he really didn't accomplish much, so I don't know. It's kind of down the middle on that one. Let's see what else we got here. Those free throw numbers for our guys are turning me on. Auburn alumni with a nice centralized take there. Joker says Austin looked really good on a lefty hook tonight. Very smooth. Yeah, he did. He had some really good moves. He also got stuffed a little bit, which is weird for a guy. They were being really, really bumpy with him in the first half. I don't think he likes that. He's going to have to get used to that because there's going to be more people doing that as the season goes on. Look at that. A super chat from a man, Nick Stample. Nick, a real-life friend of mine. What's going on, Nick? How you been? Sorry I missed you when you were up there the other night, a couple weeks ago, I guess. But I appreciate your support of what we do here on the show and at auburnsports.com. No doubt. Jeff C. says, finding multiple ways to win. Half-court offense was key to this game. Absolutely. Defense was critical because it helped them stay involved in the game when things weren't going well on the shooting end early, and then they used that to kind of get going on the offensive end, and then it's just kind of everything's going at that point. Michael Ward says, Bruce for head coach of the football team. Hell yeah. I understand what you're saying on that. There's a lot of people that would like that. As I mentioned at the top of the show, it's just a totally different dynamic. And basketball and football don't have a lot in common, really. You're playing 5 guys versus playing, 22 plus your special teams guys in football. But BP's guys, he coaches them really, really hard. Now, I'm not saying that football coaches don't. Rodney Garner will chew ass like anybody's business. But BP, he's like Rodney Garner on his worst day, like all the time. And the players love him because when they do right, he does love them up, but he will absolutely kill these kids. And as a result, guys like D'Angelo and Samir have been in his system so long They just know what the expectations are, and they fight. And Danchell hadn't had a great year. He had a great second half tonight, but he fights, man. He's fighting. I think he gets a little absent-minded on the defensive end, but I don't think it's because he's being lazy. I just think it's because he loses his mind a little bit, and he gets a little caught up in the moment. These kids fight. This team fights. That's what they do. That's kind of like their signature move. Let's be real about it. Nick's in the house is doing well. We'll get up soon for some adult beverages. You bet, man. Oh, by the way, I'm always up for some adult beverages, and I need to start drinking, don't I? Tonight, I wanted to finish off our Eagle Rare that we have. God dang it. I'm totally sober, too, by the way. Finish off the Eagle Rare that we had. I don't have much left. You guys can see that. We drank this maybe a month ago on a show. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish this bad boy off. Another one down. Time for another bottle of that one of these days. Also got my cool snifter here with the bullet inside. They kind of like embedded the bullet into the glass. I think that's pretty badass. What are you guys drinking tonight? Let's see what's going on. Bo was great. Says, did J.G. Tate say Auburn has replaced Kentucky as the SEC's only blue blood? I don't know if they're quite there yet. But there's a great start. These last 2 years have been a great start. And a lot of you guys on the bunker honestly are right on about something. I just feel like the SEC in general is so reluctant to give Bruce any praise. And there's a lot of folks in the league that, I don't know. I don't necessarily say they have a low opinion of him. They just, I don't know. I think they allow themselves to kind of get caught up in the, what he did in Iowa against Illinois in '88 or whatever. I mean, dude, shit. There's a lot of folks on our side who weren't born in '88. I was in high school in '88. Like, God bless, man. I mean, geez. Patrick Duke says, I hope that's not all you plan to drink. We're just getting started, bro. I got more. After that, we're going to go to the one of my favorites. We'll go to the Old Forester Bottled and Bond. I've noticed at the ABC stores here lately, the Prohibition style has been harder to get, which is the 1920 version. I'm not sure about that. I feel like the Bottled and Bond's just as good, if not better. But and I think they're both better than the original batch, just my opinion. I've not had the Statesman yet, though, so if you guys have had the Statesman, hop in there. Declan says he's drinking the Woodford Reserve. That's delicious. Patrick Duke's drinking one of my favorites, the Angel's Envy. He has the rye and rum cask. I have not had that. I saw it at the Auburn ABC store available briefly before Christmas, but I didn't get it. I got the regular one. Brian Gunner says War Damn Eagle Rare. Clever. I like that. Jeffrey Branch says, how do I make my username show up and not my real name? I don't know how to do that right off. I'm guessing it goes by what you're logged in as on YouTube. So I think if you change your name on YouTube in your settings, it would probably switch what it says there. Yeah. Love the Cat says he's drinking Redemption Rye, or are you ragging on somebody else who was drinking Redemption Rye? I don't know. Love the Cat says we getting Ole Miss drunk tonight. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I was like, hey, man, I watched your show, and it was after the Ole Miss game, and you were shit-ass drunk, dude. I was like, yeah, you're right. The show went 4 hours, though, to be fair. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Joker says, JGT, can you talk about the physicality the team showed on the boards tonight? I was impressed considering Adu and Perry are monsters. Yeah, Perry did tear that ass up, though. To be fair, Reggie Perry finishes with 20 points on 8 of 19, 12 boards. It was tough. That was Dangel's guy for most of the night, and I thought that Dangel lost him too often, particularly in transition. And, again, Dangel gets a little – and I don't think it's a function of laziness. Sometimes in the bunker they say, oh, Dangel's so lazy. I think he just gets absent-minded. And he's thinking about another part of the operation while he's defending. Am I going to move? Where am I going to move on the next roll? Where do I feel best shooting? And he loses track of what he's doing on the defensive end. I'm not. He should be better than that at this age, to be fair. But I'm just explaining what I think's going on with him. Let's see what else we got here. Zach is drinking Maker's Mark. That's always a good call. Nick's drinking the 1792 Sweet Wheat, which I had last night at the tipping point. I had not had that before, and, man, it was good. Really would like to get my hands on some of that. That would be absolutely delicious and lovely. I keep hoping for it to pop up at the ABC store at East Chase, but it does not pop up for me. Sucks. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines now. Let's see. Come on, JG. There we go. Go ahead and open up the phone lines. I would love to talk to GG32 tonight because, as you guys know, those of you who've been following along on the bunker, he has been banned. I do not expect him to stay banned very long. Oh, that's tasty. But, yeah. Jeff, I don't know why your messages keep getting retracted. That was weird. I saw one pop up and then it died like immediately. It was kind of strange. Love the Cat says it's your Google login. My account is my fake Google Cat Facts account. Okay. All right, we got our first call coming in from the 706. Let's see what's up. Hey, caller, how you doing?
War Eagle.
Welcome to the show. Who am I speaking with?
This is the only one, BP Rockman.
Hey, what up, man?
What up, man? What a nice win.
Hell
I was
yeah.
so wrong. I had us at 68-64 losing, and that was one impressive win.
Hell yeah, man. And I was commending you earlier, man. You've been really big on basketball for a long, long time now, so I know this is really satisfying for you.
I've been season ticket way before, even unfortunately during the Barbie days. They never go, but so I'm a bigger basketball fan than I am football. I play basketball, so I definitely love it.
What really stood out to you tonight, BP? What was your favorite part about this victory?
I would say first, Vaughn showed signs of playing like Jared. His pull-up game, his ability to drive, and then second would be Austin and his physicality tonight. I really thought he would struggle. I thought Core would struggle. But, I mean, give Mississippi State credit. Their big guys are good. But
yeah.
Auburn showed up to play.
And they fought really hard, man. And I think that's something that people who don't watch the team every minute don't know, I guess. This team always fights. I mean, they get beat sometimes, but they do fight their ass off a lot.
Well, they don't give up, and that's the key. And I still think we need a little bit more depth with Cambridge. Flanagan didn't have significant minutes tonight, but, I mean, he showed signs in a few games this year. So we need at least one or two more people. And then, you know, like you said, Mac, his numbers suck, but he actually had a lot of good hustle plays and defensive plays. He's got to watch his foul trouble. We can't afford that long term and be on the bench.
You talking about Macklemore?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they got to have him. I mean, he's the only big they can put on the, coming off the bench. But, they were playing Wiley and Ann a little bit tonight, which I don't remember seeing, at least not recently. That was pretty cool.
I don't think that's happened this year, and it definitely didn't happen much. I think a few times last year, if I recall, I think someone on the bunker pointed that out, and I got to really thinking, and I think that was a nice touch to kind of go against their bigs.
Yeah, they have some long dudes, and they were tearing them up, at least in the first half for sure. Are you getting fired up for this next game? I guess they got Vanderbilt, who's not great. Are you going to be at that one?
Oh, most definitely. I'll be there, and then Saturday will be very exciting against Georgia. I think Georgia's win today was a big win for them and the SEC, so next Saturday should be very exciting.
Yeah, Auburn's probably going to beat Georgia, and at least for somebody like me, I don't like Georgia very much, so it's pretty satisfying to see that anytime.
I hate Georgia. Working in Columbus, it makes it even worse.
Word. BP, man, I appreciate you so much, man. You're always here, part of the show, and you're a great super chatter, and I just appreciate the hell out of you, man. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. War Eagle.
All right, see you, BP. It's BP Rockman, one of the all-time greats. A guy who recently won an award at his place of business, at his work, for the work that he had done off the board with Hayden, a young man who had was going through chemotherapy repeatedly, and the things that BP was doing behind the scenes to kind of help Hayden and his family get through that. The guy's just an absolute beast. Hayden and BP. We got a call coming in from the 770. Welcome to the show, caller. Word.
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I know who this is. What did you think about
JG?
What did you think about that one, Ruxpin? That was pretty fun, huh?
I thought that was a good game, man. I heard a bunch of people saying we were going to get, beat or, win by one, and I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, aren't you surprised by the people who, when Auburn's down like 4 points in the first 5 minutes, just absolutely quit on the damn game? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I saw what you're referring to today, man, and Jay, and there's just going to be those people like that, man. The bunker was a freaking mess after that Outback Bowl, so I understand, what you're dealing with.
Well, the bunker's dealing with it. I mean, that's just we have some folks that are kind of beta-y, and they baited out. I don't know what else to tell you. What's your favorite takeaway from this one, Ruxpin?
I just love the physicality we played with, and I thought Isaac Okoro, just really proved himself to be, the dominant athlete that he is. So I don't really have anything bad to take away from the game except that the free throws down the stretch weren't ideal.
Well, I mean, they shot free throws pretty well tonight. I know they missed a few. Javon missed a couple there late, but in general, they were pretty good at the line.
Yeah, I think that and the 3-point shooting is our one difference from last year where we're not as good at. But I was saying on the bunker a couple of days ago that I think our Team B, if you will, is way closer to our Team A and talent-wise than last year. Which is exciting.
Yeah, they've got some players for real, dude. They didn't have a great night tonight, but I know what you're saying. In general, those guys, somebody steps up pretty much every night. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Bruce is doing his thing.
Hell yeah, he is. He's got it going for sure. Obviously you're not too drunk right now. Are you going to be drinking later tonight?
Yeah, so I'm trying to go see a lady friend. I just got to the liquor store, but I'm trying to keep that keep that hardwood going tonight.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. I get it, man.
Hell yeah, but you know what, JG? Love you. Love Jay Lee. Love B Matt. Nate King, keep doing your thing.
All right. See you, Rux. There he is, Ruxpin. You caught him in a rare, sober moment there. That's, again, unusual. Let's take this call from the 804. Welcome to the show, caller. How you doing?
I'm doing great, JG. Why not AU, man?
Word. How you been, man?
It's been a minute, man. I'm doing well, though.
You're pretty fired up about that win, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, and surprised. I mean, I was one of the guys picking us to not do as well tonight, and really, I couldn't be prouder of the effort. Just physically and mentally, we got just a bunch of tough guys, well coached. We're put in the right positions. It seems like our guys take coaching well, and it's just a breath of fresh air after watching this football team this year and years past with Mr. Gus.
Yes, it is a lot different on the basketball side because BP's got these kids where they fight like hell. And I mean, I thought the football team fought, but a lot of times I feel like the head coach was kind of a problem in the football. Like the head coach kind of slowed them down a little bit in football side. BP doesn't do that on the basketball side. He helps them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this team grow. I'm looking forward to watching different people take on different roles each and every night, and that's the sign of a team, guys playing cohesive. We had that last year, and I think we're developing that this year. I really like Okoro. I think he's one of the best players in the paint we've had in a long time. Just watch him work down there against guys much bigger than him. It's just amazing.
Yeah, he fights, man. I don't necessarily think of him as a paint guy, but you're right. He's a good back to the basket kind of a spot up dude, or a post up dude rather. It surprises me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really versatile.
It is surprising.
He's versatile as hell, man. He really is.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching them grow. I think we've got our work cut out for us. Obviously there's a lot of teams in the league that are getting better. Alabama, you watch them improve every week, and they got these guards that are playing out of their minds. They shoot. They look a lot like us from last year, quite frankly. But we just take one game at a time, man, and just watching these guys is fun no matter what, win or lose, just because of the way they play and just because of Bruce and who he is and what he means to the program and Auburn as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, aren't there moments, why not, when you sit around going, man, how in the hell did Auburn get Bruce Pearl? Because he is such a beast.
There are. And then what I say to other people, I'm like, look, man, Alan Green should have perfect coach no matter what sport. Here are the qualities you want. And the qualities from Bruce Pearl should be on every coach no matter what sport. Just the guy is an ambassador. He gets the students and the alumni fired up. He's out there doing good for charity. He's out in front of everything. You couldn't ask for a better representative of Auburn.
He's unbelievable. I mean, he just gets it like nobody else gets it better than BP gets it. And he's a winner too. He's just like
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, he is. And I want to tell a quick story, and then I'll let others get on the phone because I know everybody wants time with you. Bruce, a guy that I work with, his son is in the business school down at Auburn, and he had to get something done for extra credit, and he just reached out to Bruce Pearl and said, "Hey, man, could you do a short video for me for my professor for extra credit?" I'm not sure what the assignment was, but Bruce did it, called him or sent him an email and apologized and said, "Man, I'm sorry I didn't get to it sooner." But I mean, the guy's just dialed in, and it's just another example of that we got a great guy, and we should support him and be thankful.
He's a beast, absolutely. Why not? I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Yeah, man.
See you,
Thanks,
man.
JG.
See ya.
Bye.
Oh, man, why not? Uh-oh. Somebody went deep. AU Civil. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for that super chat, AU Civil. That's a big one. Big-time poster on the bunker. Somebody who's voluminous and also reasonable. It says, meditate to Auburn College Fund. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. She loves Auburn. Got a lot of friends at Auburn. Obviously, she got into Auburn, first place she applied to, but we're working on the scholarship money. Sometimes it can be difficult at Auburn because they have an enrollment cap. And honestly, Auburn's not having any trouble getting kids to come to school there. So the scholarship money can be kind of tight. I feel like she's done really good. She goes to a really tough high school, the number one high school in the state. She does well. She emphasizes STEM types of stuff. She's a mathematics, science kind of girl. Did really well in her ACT way ahead of what I expected her to ever get. Still not quite enough. We're just hoping, you never know. But thank you very much for that. Also, Declan Yearwood's in the house. Says, just found show. It's great. Love Auburn basketball. Thank you for your support of the show, Declan. I saw you earlier in the chat. I didn't recognize that name, so I'm glad to have recruited you here to the show. We've got some other folks calling in. There's a couple things I wanted to point out real quick before we take the next call. Sorry about that, the 205 there. I've got the schedule. It's been in this little pane before. You've probably seen it rotate through. But I want to take a quick look at this. This is what we're looking at here at the top of the SEC schedule. Obviously got that win in Mississippi State, which is a great way to start the season. Got Vanderbilt at home. Here the next game. That's going to be, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Hate those 8 o'clock tips. Absolutely hate them. You guys who live in the Eastern time zone, who are unfortunate enough to live in Georgia and have to listen to the Bulldog shit all the time. It's 9 o'clock. That ain't cool. But Vanderbilt's been pretty bad this year. As you know, they went winless in the SEC last year. So you would think that's probably going to be an Auburn win. And then you've got the home game against Georgia next weekend. Georgia's a team that probably should be better than they are. They won at Memphis today by 3, which that's a huge win for them. So they're going to be riding some confidence at least from that one. I still think Auburn wins that game by like 10 points or more. Alabama, that's going to be in Tusk. No, that's at home. Okay, 8 o'clock is the next game. So you can get a good look there. Auburn should beat Alabama. At Florida is going to be a real challenge. I think Florida should be better than they are. They're pretty good. I think they've got some really good players. You could argue they have the same amount of talent that Auburn has, and Kentucky probably. So that's going to be a tough one for sure, but you can see how it's kind of stacking up. In the Iowa State game, Iowa State lost a real stinker the other day. I'm going to go ahead and take this call, even though I was going through this schedule there. This is a 205 person. This person's been very persistent. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
JG, what's happening, man?
Is this Auburn alumni?
This is Auburn alumni.
Hey, I appreciate you being persistent on the phone line. I didn't mean to blow you off there, bro.
Well, I had to get my fix after such a glorious, warming, enjoyable Auburn win, the 25th and 26th games, which is just absolutely mind-boggling, and arguably 26 and 26, but if not for zebras. But yeah, man, just to me that was an outstanding road win. I mean, that was if you ever thought that we could shoot at one point, I think it was 14% for the game. I think we shot 5 threes the entire game, and we ended up winning by double digits on the road against a team that is as big and as physical as any team in the league. There's just so many. It's so interesting in that this year's team is so unlike last year's, but in a lot of ways we're better in areas. Last year it was pretty much live by 3, die by 3, of course. But this year, and you've seen it time and again, is we are able to pretty much go physically toe-to-toe with anybody Wiley, of course, being the key guy there with his improvement this year. But, Flanagan, he doesn't look like a freshman. That dude's muscled up. Okoro, same way. I mean, we got guys that look like linebackers that are freshmen. But just the physicality that we brought tonight, Perry's a beast. Adu was a beast. And for us to win like we did going away in the second half is just huge. And the thing that I like about this team is that we don't have any superstars at all on this team. And there's no star. There's no Jared or Bryce that, is going to get 20 every night. But unlike previous years, like there's not a Horace Spencer in the starting five. And that, I mean, and on any given night, any of our starting five could go for 15 to 20 points. And it's not something that's just crazy. Like Purefoy can go off like he did. Austin has been great all year, pretty much. Obviously, Vaughn has close to 30 tonight. We've seen games where Samir goes for 30 almost. And then Okoro has been a double-double almost just about every night. And that's what's so exciting about this is the fact of we've got the dudes across the board that on any given night can make plays. But, dude, I'll tell you, I think I posted it in the chat, but one of my favorite plays tonight was that ball that Okoro dove for, where it was between like two state players, and he throws his whole body into it, gets the ball, and that's the kind of effort that, I mean, you got a freshman doing that, and that kid's special, man.
He is special. He's special.
Just,
and he's really taken to what BP wants him to do. I mean, like some young kids have a hard time adjusting to BP. Not Isaac. He just gets it and he just goes.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
And then the other thing that obviously we see what happens when Purefoy is on his game. When Purefoy can give us that 10 to 15 points, we're a different ball club with him. And if you can get him out there and he can stretch that 4 spot and start hitting those long shots, but even when he's not been hitting his shots, and you can tell me if you agree or not, but to me his effort's been really good most of the year. Like just like hustle plays, going for loose balls. I mean, he's done well, but if he can consistently get 2 to 3 threes a game, get us, that 10 to 15 points, somewhere in that range. I mean, I really like this starting five when he's on it. But of course, the biggest thing that I took away was 21 to 30 from the line, guys going 6 for 7, 5 for 6. Vaughn 8-11. What was it? A couple of chats ago we talked. He was like 27% on the year.
Yeah.
And then now he seems to fix that. And if we can stay in that range of 70-ish%, we're going to be a damn tough team to beat. I mean, we've got depth this year, we've got size, and we've got the defense. And I'm preaching to the choir, but it was a great win, man. And yeah, Bruce is the GOAT. I mean, that's this guy, as previous people have said, and we've said before, he just gets it. There are not 3 of him in any sport known to man. I mean, I'm a big Liverpool supporter, so like a Jurgen Klopp is something that reminds me of Bruce.
Yeah.
He's charismatic. He knows how to develop players, and he just wins. And that's what this guy does. And I think my lucky stars, we got a guy like this. And the battered bunker syndrome needs to stop when Bruce and the boys are playing.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I mean, dude, especially 4 minutes into a game. I mean, but we see how that's gone. But yeah, anyway, I'll get off, man. But 25 of 26, great effort, physical. Love this team. Love our coach. 13-0. It's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, it is. It's a great time to be an Auburn basketball fan. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Auburn alumni. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, buddy.
See you, man. Our most rational caller, although we have several that are good rational callers. Another huge super chat from BP again. He says he's still pumped up. War Eagle. Pumped up, I'm sure, from just being on the air, right? No, he's fired about the team. He's always good about like when a lot of times at home games, Brian will be there to cover the game, and then I'm shooting from the baseline, and BP will take a picture of me, because he's up in the stands, and he'll be like, "Check this dude out, he's got frosted tips." But BP's always there, man. He goes to all the home games, so it's huge. I want to correct one thing on my schedule. Let me take this box score down. I took that up because Auburn alumni was mentioning it. The January 15th game against Alabama, that is in Tuscaloosa. And Jeffrey B., last name redacted, pointed that out. So thank you very much for pointing that out. I just was putting this thing together when the Mississippi State game was going on. I just probably missed that. I was just paying attention to something that happened in the game. So the January 15th game is in Tuscaloosa, 8 o'clock tip. Yeah. Auburn, there was a time when Auburn didn't play very well at Alabama, but I think that might have changed. Yeah, Auburn's had had some wins against Alabama here lately in Tuscaloosa. Let me get caught up on the chats. See what's going on here. Rob D says head fake. Auburn scores again. They were doing a lot of that. Mississippi State was very interested in blocking shots and swatting shots tonight. And once Auburn kind of figured that out and calmed down a little bit and stopped trying to force the issue against those shot blockers, everything was fine. HSV Tiger 34 says everyone can score on any given night. Hard to defend. Agreed. As Auburn alumni pointed out in his call, not one big-time superstar player the way that Jared, Chuma, and Bryce were last year, but they spread it around. They've got a lot of different kinds of players who can help them a lot from day to day. Although Kenneth N. says, careful. I know what you're saying, caller, talking about Auburn alumni. We have better talent in some areas, but I think we need more quickness. First SEC win, so I'm trying to curb my opinions a little. I like that. I like rational thought. We don't want to get too carried away. Auburn, it's a big win, huge win for them, but there's still some areas of concern. They did play very poorly to begin. It's great that they got it all adjusted and actually fought really hard, but you got to wonder a little bit, okay, why did they fall behind early? Why was Vaughn getting so jittery, et cetera, et cetera? Hey, caller, welcome to the show. Appreciate you calling in, bro.
What was going on?
Word. Who I got on the horn?
This is AU Rockstar. How's it going?
Hey, what up, man? How you been? I haven't been cussing
Just
tonight,
chilling.
if it makes you feel any better.
A little bit of illin.
I haven't been cussing tonight.
Have you been drinking?
Yes. I mean, it's pretty much proof
Well.
on the air, but I have not said a lot of bad words. I think I said shit earlier, though. I'm sorry.
There's kids around here.
I'm sorry,
You
guys.
gotta think about them.
What'd you think about that game, bro?
That was a legit game. That was a man's game right there.
It was.
I love Purifoy going off.
Yeah, he had an 8-0 run
Thought
by
that-
himself there, right?
Yeah, he was legit. Samir Dowdy was okay. Javon McCormick was legit. I mean, we need a 3-point shooter badly. I don't know. I mean, does Sloppy Pullman have any more years of eligibility left? Because we need a shooter bad from 3-point.
They've got one coming in, Justin Powell from LaGrange, Kentucky. That dude can fill it up. So they have help on the way.
All right, well, listen, I got to go. Watch your mouth and think about the kids, okay?
All right, appreciate you, man.
Bye.
See you, bro. That was a short call. It might have been the shortest call we've ever had on here. Look, he's called me before. He texted me earlier in the year. I didn't even see this. I'm sorry, A Rockstar. He sent me, I guess, a message on the Skype. And he said, can we split the brain drain into 2 segments? One which is kid-friendly and one brain drain after dark. This is a guy that's got the dude from American Pie taking a tug from Shannon Elizabeth as his avatar. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's up, JG?
Who I got on the horn?
Oh man, this is Joker. I'm calling to
Oh, boy.
let you know how my crow was and beg Javon's forgiveness.
Boy, I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, I think the super chats did a lot to bring to kind of bring the olive branch in. But I mean, Javon's hurt. He's hurt.
Hey, he has every right to be. No, I wanted to call and I guess kind of walk the listeners through what I was thinking since you've let everybody know
Okay.
how bad of a poster I am.
No, that was a cold.
So,
I'm just saying it was a very cold take. It was a very cold take.
It was. It turned out to be. So a little bit about me. I've coached high school ball within the last 10 years, and just based on what I've seen in high school, granted, Javon is obviously better than just a high school player. He proved that tonight. But generally, a physical game like the one that Mississippi State tends to play, particularly in the first 5 minutes, does not bode well for a smaller point guard. I think you see most point guards try to shy away from contact.
Yeah.
There's not even even in the pros, there's not anybody that I can really think of. There's a lot of finishers through contact, but I don't know that a point guard necessarily loves contact. It tends to get in their head a little bit. And a couple of the shots that Javon threw up early, I felt were forced.
No, they were. They
almost
were.
like he was trying to draw contact. The refs weren't calling it, and I could see him get a little frustrated. And I thought, well, here we go. Point guard shots aren't falling. Other teams being physical with him, particularly Weatherspoon. I don't know if you saw him and Weatherspoon go back and forth with each other.
Well, they were getting physical, weren't they?
Key, but Weatherspoon was very handsy and very, very pushy with Javon all throughout the game, but particularly the first 5 minutes. Anyway, I just didn't think it was going to turn out to be a good night for Javon. Clearly, he proved me wrong. As others have said, I've taken my lumps on the bunker, deservedly. I've taken my lumps here, deservedly. I'm sure the chat is blowing up about how people hate my guts, so on and so forth. That's fine. I deserve it. It is what it is. Javon had one of the best, most productive games that I've seen from a player since Pearls got here. Not only scoring, but rebounds. How many rebounds did he end up with?
Javon had 8 tonight.
So, almost a double-double for a 6-foot point guard against 2 players really 3 players like Adu, Perry, and then their small forward is a really big guy for a small forward. 6'7", I think, is what the announcer said during the game. So, hindsight being what it is, maybe I just need to keep my mouth shut a little bit longer before I.
Hey, I did misspoke, though. He had 4 rebounds. I'm sorry. So 4. It's still decent for a point guard, but 8 of 11 at the line. You got to give him credit because he was under 50% coming into this game. So, he sacked up and got it done.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I think Auburn alumni just pointed out and a couple other guys have pointed out. Throughout the beginning of this year, free throws have been iffy at best. And for us to shoot collectively, almost 80% tonight? Does that sound?
Let's see, 21 of 30. So
70%. 21 of 30, 66, 70%, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but even still, that's a heck of a night. And for Javon to go 8 of 11, dude, I get what I deserve. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
we've got some folks in the chat. Keeping them eligible is calling you a beta. And then the Canoe Man says, I hate Joker's guts. So,
I hate the Canoe Man's guts too.
Oh, damn. Come on now. Everybody loves each other, right?
Yeah, he's never invited me on the canoe, so I don't,
Yeah, that's true. Of course, he only invites girls, but that's okay. I appreciate you coming on the show, and you've taken this thing head on, and I think that's really good of you, Joker.
Well,
it happens.
Maybe is AU Rockstar still listening? Can I say the word bitch? I may be a bitch, but I'm a manly bitch. How about that?
And you step up. I get it, man. I get it. All right, Joker. Appreciate you,
right.
bro.
Yeah, man. Keep doing you.
Be good.
Yeah.
One of our great super chatters, Joker, in the house, who was a persistent caller tonight. Thank you very much for being part of the show, bro. HSV, Huntsville Tiger 34 says, oh, gosh, wish I could post my dog sniffing a butt. Oh, come on, man. I didn't think he was kissing up to me. He was kissing up to the team. Yeah, definitely. Funny stuff, man. The Canoe Man says, bring 2 chicks and jump in the canoe, bitch. That's what I said. I said he's bringing girls. He needs girls. PP says, I love you, Joker. At least Joker's got a little bit of support in certain corners of the Auburn sphere, auburnsports.com sphere, so to speak. David S. says, pretty amazing. A point guard with 5 turnovers and 4 assists was by far the best player of the game. After that rough start, he was unstoppable. Damn fine game from Javon. Absolutely. Terrific game from Javon. He did everything right, really, after about those first 10 minutes. He got downhill, hit his free throws, scored career-high 28 points. play with a whole lot of passion. I mean, that's what you're looking for. I still think sometimes we all expect more from Vaughn than maybe we should. Remember that Vaughn was basically a nobody when they signed him. He was a guy who was supposed to be playing behind Jared for 2 years, and they thought Jared was going to stay the whole way just because he's so small, you know. I mean, obviously he's a hell of a player, but he's just kind of a small dude, and they thought he would end up staying. But Jared played his ass off in the tournament last year and got himself a deal with the Suns. Good for him, man. I mean, BP's goal is to get kids in the league. That's all he wants to do. He wants to get these kids rich. I mean, he wants them to be good in school and all that too. But I mean, I'm saying, like, if he's going to make Auburn into a true national blue blood powerhouse, he's got to get kids in the league. Now, he's got Chuma in the league right now, but Chuma's not playing right now, so it's not helping a lot. Chuma's still hurt. He's rehabbing with the Magic. It's probably going to be next year. The good news is that the Magic is the kind of team where they need Chuma, and I think his game is going to translate really well to what they want to do. I kind of like the Magic. I watch the Magic. I've got NBA League Pass, so I can kind of watch their games even though they're never on TNT or ESPN. And when Big V is playing, they have a star player in Big V, and they have some other dudes that can play. And Chuma's going to have a lot of chances with them. So next year, when he's fully rehabbed and his knee's fine and he's doing his Chuma shit, he's going to be awesome. I think he's going to be a really good NBA player, and that's going to help a lot. That's going to be the first stick, you know? Because, man, it's been so long since Auburn had a good NBA player. It's been so long. It's been Cliff Ellis. Even though I think Kenny Gabriel could have played in the NBA, but I mean, I'm not going to get started on that. Oh boy, we got some subtweets going on. Joker has now come back on Canoe Man and says, "What kind of girls you looking for?" J-Rob AU91 says, NBA League Pass, living large, JG. That's the tell, man, huh? If you've got NBA League Pass. I love NBA League Pass. Now, I do watch the Magic. Patrick, I don't watch every game, but I do watch the Magic. And I like the Magic. I'll tell you guys. AU Civil's calling me. He says, "You said shit again." I'm sorry, guys. In the 90s, I was absolutely in love with the Magic when they had Shaq and Penny, Nick Anderson. That white dude from Oklahoma State that used to shoot threes, forgot his name. And we went so far as we went down there to, like, meet the players and shit. We tried our best anyway. We didn't succeed, but we ended up seeing Shaq and, like, his little harem of, like, chicks that wanted to go home with him that didn't actually go home with him. And then Dennis Scott. Dude, Dennis Scott, he actually drove, swear to God, a Mazda MPV with, like, a paint scheme that was, like, glittery blue. I was like, holy shit, man. You've got all this money and that's the best you can do? Hey, caller, what's going on? How you doing?
JG, what's going on?
Word. Who I got on the horn?
Yeah, AU Storm 20.
All right, word. What's up, man? How you been?
I'm feeling pretty good after that win. And what we saw out there from our guys in the second half.
Hell yeah, man. Why not? Hell, in the first half, they fought back, got ahead, and in the second half, it got close, and then they pushed it out because D'Angelo balled out, and they just played really good the last 5 minutes. I mean, that's what you expect, right?
Yeah, I was very impressed with when the game started to get a little out of hand. It seemed like we started running more sets, and a lot of those sets included getting the ball in Okoro's hand, and Okuru, as they said on the broadcast.
Yeah.
But it seemed like once we started doing that and getting some more sets, like you mentioned in the video earlier in the week, how when we got into our half-court sets, when we weren't in transition and we got the ball in the point guard's hands and actually got something set up, it started to kind of slow down a little bit, and we started to get easier baskets and easier takes. And at the beginning of the game, that just wasn't happening, and those shots in the half court were going up too quick, and Mississippi State was taking advantage of that. And once that started kind of happening, I feel like the game started going into our favor. And that really, started to kind of take over. And Okoro started to make plays in the half court and get the ball in the right people's hands. And, I feel like that was a huge part of the game tonight.
Yeah, I think he might have the biggest ceiling of anybody they've got. I mean, I think when they get him truly acclimated, I think he's going to be an absolute monster. Now, is that going to be 2 games from now? Is he already there? Is he going to be there this year? I don't know, but I think his quickness and his skills, I don't know as though anybody in this league can stop him consistently. And he was so huge tonight. I agree with you. He was huge.
Yeah, the one thing that does concern me moving forward is if we do have another one of those 0 for 11, halves of shooting, and the other team doesn't shoot just as poorly as we do, how big of a hole we're going to be going into the next half, or we're trying to fight back. It's as we saw tonight, we could turn on at any point if we want to, but that's just concerning moving forward against a team that can score and does have a lot of good perimeter scoring. And I don't know if a lot of that has to do with how well our defense adjusted and started playing after the first few 10 minutes of the game, and how we kind of settled in. But it is something to look towards in the future when it comes to how we score. What is our scoring compared to the other team, and can we fight out of a big deficit hole against a really good athletic team? We haven't really seen that so far, except for Furman.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of a concern moving forward.
Mississippi State is kind of a bitch, though, because they're huge and they rebound like mad on the offensive end. So, I mean, that's a fight. And Auburn was getting humbled a little bit with the drives in the first half. They were getting their shit swatted. I mean, it was 8 blocks in the first half, 12 total for Mississippi State. So I don't think Mississippi State is a great team, but they provide challenges that other teams that Auburn has faced this year haven't been able to give. So I think it's a really good statement win for Auburn. I mean, it's not, you're not going to say, oh, they're going to the Final Four because they beat State, but to go on the road and win there and beat that particular team that had some big dudes, I think that's pretty good.
Well, I will say this. The one thing I am very impressed with is just the fact that we have so many seniors on the team, and they adjusted the way they attacked the rim. Vaughn, the first half, kept trying to attack a certain way. He just kept getting swatted. And he kept, guys kept creeping up on him. He switched the way he was attacking and started doing those teardrops. Same thing with Samir. And it's like they finally figured out, okay, they're looking for this, so we got to adjust and attack the lane this way. And I think that was huge, as well as just the way that we started running some offensive sets and everything. But I mean, if you look at what we got coming up, I think Georgia's going to be a huge game with the way they're starting to kind of fill themselves out and start to figure out how to play. So it's exciting. I after the first 10 minutes, I was like, man, here we go again. It's can't shoot, can't make a basket. We saw this story last year, and I was extremely impressed with that.
Yeah, they definitely dug out, man, and their defense carried them, man, big time. A lot of effort.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go watch my Titans lose. So we will I appreciate the call, and thanks for talking for a little bit.
Appreciate it, AU Storm. See you, bud.
See you.
AU Storm. Not sure he's called in before. Glad to have him. Good shit right there. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see. Jeff C says Bama's coming on, winning at Florida in the second half. Blah, blah. They won't win. Patrick J says, what are y'all drinking tonight, fellas? I am drinking Old Forester Bottled in Bond, which you also might know as the 1897 version. You can find that very easily at the ABCs here in Alabama. Everybody's losing their shit over the Prohibition style, which is the 1920 version, which is also delicious. But I consider Bottled in Bond just as good as that other version as well. That's what I'm drinking tonight. So I've got right here. I'm actually probably a little more bombed than I should be, considering we're only an hour into the show. And I don't expect basketball shows to go, as long as they did for football or anything like that. But it's delicious bourbon. Haven't been drinking as much. Ate a lot during the holiday, as you would expect. And so I'm kind of cutting back on the food at this point. And that means that when I drink now, it's like, yikes, got to be careful. Let's see what else we got here. I'm missing. DJ Keith says Kentucky and Arkansas and LSU are my only worries. Yeah, Kentucky's always a problem. Arkansas is coached up really, really well by Musselman, who is a guy that me and Hoke, back when Hoke was still here, we'd heard he was a guy they were looking at before the Barbie hire. hell no. What was before the Barbie hire when he was an assistant, and then again when the Pearl thing was going on. But as soon as we heard Pearl's name, I thought that made sense. He's a guy that was being pitched a lot. The people who were in the know thought that he was going to be a really good coach, and I think he's proving himself at Arkansas. They are a pain in the ass again. And I know it's his first year, and I really believe that 2 years from now we're going to see Arkansas is a real problem, like a Kentucky-type problem again. I think the guy can coach. And then LSU, I don't know about LSU quite. I think Tremont Waters being gone is going to really hurt them. But Will Wade is certainly AU Rockstar should really not like Will Wade. He's a very profane coach. If you guys have ever heard him on the sidelines, he cusses a lot. Love the Cats. Apropos of nothing, would say I would make out with Okoro's thighs. Yow, man. That's good to know. That's good to know. I'll let him know if he ever needs a straight man to lick his thighs. The Canoe Man says, at TD, get the restaurant to put the brain drain on their TVs. That would be incredible. I would love to know that our show here actually made it onto the TV, hell, pretty much anywhere. I think that Griffna posted a picture of a brain drain during football season being on her TV, and I was pretty impressed by that. Hell, much less at a restaurant. TD says, hard pass, Canoe Man. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I know. You don't want to go too far. Patrick Judkin says, is Wiley a pro? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, he's a pro. He's going to play pro somewhere. But you probably mean NBA. And I don't think so. He has the body for it. I just don't know if he has the skills for it. Let's get this call, yo. 256 calling in, yo. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Word.
HSV Tiger 34.
Hey, what's up, man?
Man, just wanted to say I'm happy. And I don't get happy a lot, especially around Auburn sports.
Yeah.
I'm primarily a football fan, so how happy can I be? But, man, this basketball, it's Bruce is really turning me into a basketball fan. I probably haven't paid that much attention to Auburn basketball since the Cliff Ellis days. And it's just awesome. And that's a huge win today.
Hell yeah.
It gives us a cushion for later. I mean, basketball's hard. Everybody loses. These games that we should win, not even saying we should have won today, but we did. It's just a cushion, man, and it allows us to slip up somewhere later and doesn't kill us.
I was surprised
to say I'm happy.
I was surprised to see you in the chat earlier because you're, like you said, you're usually a football guy.
Yeah, I'm 100% a football guy until now. So, as a lot of Auburn fans probably are. If nothing else, Gus is building a following in other sports.
Hey, you have been to some you've been to some bunker lunches in Birmingham. Are you intimidated by anybody on the bunker, or do you think you could whoop everybody's ass?
I've only been to one bunker luncheon.
Oh,
and
damn!
with,
Okay.
Average age probably going on early 70s. I feel like I could take any of them.
That's bullshit, man. That's not true.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying I probably would beat anybody I've seen on the bunkers.
Yeah. Dude, Russ 47 was a Marine, and he did some real work. So I would, if I were you, I would worry about Russ, but that might be the only one.
Yeah, I met Russ at the one bunker luncheon I went to, and if anybody sneaks in and kills me in my sleep, it'd probably be Russ.
Yeah, it would probably be him. You're also the man who likes to put the dog sniffing the other dog's ass. That's one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, that is my favorite. Yeah, because there's a lot of butt sniffing that goes on the bunker, and just calling folks out.
No, there is some.
Keeping it real.
I do.
Keeping it real, man.
Well, listen, man, we're glad to have you on the basketball bandwagon, bro, because this team's really good. This program's really good.
Man, it is really good. Like I said, I'm glad to have something to normally after football season, sports are dead to me until football season again.
Yeah.
So this is it's awesome to have something to pay attention to, and I'm sure I'll be out of the country in March. So I'll have to DVR anything we do during March Madness. I'll have to DVR it, but looking forward to keeping up as much as I can.
All right, bro. Appreciate you having you on the show. I think it's your first call, right?
Oh, it's absolutely my first call.
All right, word. Well, you're always welcome, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
See you, bro.
War Eagle. Thank you.
War Eagle. Huntsville Tiger 34. A man who likes to keep people straight on the bunker when they're brown nosing people. He will definitely call them out immediately. And he's a pretty tough dude. I suspect he was armed forces at some point. I think he's a contractor now, but he's a pretty bad man. I wouldn't want to fight him. Although I still think Russ could kick his ass. I'm not saying that it would be he would just kill him, like straight up. But I think Russ 47 would have a chance on him for sure, because Russ is a very, very bad man. He comes across a very dignified dude, and you wouldn't know that he's a killer from talking to him. But I think he's got some things in his history that would suggest that he's very, very, very mean if he needs to be. Although Huntsville Tiger also is mean. We also have a new super chat coming in from the Canoe Man, who's been very active in the chat tonight and other nights as well. We thank you very much for your support, sir. Says, thank you for the basketball brain drains. Please add this to the Blantons fund. Absolutely, man. I actually had one of my insiders. I don't want to say who it is because I feel like I'd be I just don't want to say who it is. But he offered me a bottle of Blanton's for, I think he said $80 the other day, which seems a little high. So I think Blanton's, if you find it on the shelf, it's more like 60-ish. But I was tempted to do that, because we all like Blanton's. Blanton's is really, really good, but there are so many bourbons on the market now that are delicious. I don't think we have to worry too much about Blanton's. Anyway, thank you very much for your support, Canoe Man. And your bantering on the show here, or on the chat rather, with Joker has been really funny. Atlanta Hawk 05 says, how about those Auburn Tigers? I like Auburn until they play Georgia. Womp, womp, womp. Come on, man. First of all, if you like the Hawks for reals, I hate it for you, because the Hawks are bad. I really want the Hawks to be good, but they're bad this year. We have just gotten a text. We have gotten word from Mr. Brian Matthews that he is ready for his segment on the show. The Canoe Man says $80 for Bland's is fair. Here's the problem with Bland's, bro. So I went to college in Kentucky. So I was in Kentucky from 90 until I came here in 98. 8 years. Excuse me. Now, back then, bourbon was like Maker's Mark. You had all the regulars like Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. I'm not interested in that shit. And then when it came, and you had Maker's Mark in Kentucky. And then you had Bland's. Bland's was like, to me, the best bourbon on the market. There weren't a bunch of bourbons out there. This is back, let's say, 93-ish. And we always held Bland's in the highest regard. Now there's a bunch of what I would call craft bourbons. And they try to portray Booker's, Knob Creek, 1792, et cetera, as craft bourbons. They're really just bourbons put out by big manufacturers. 1792 is Barton. Buffalo Trace has so many now, I can't even keep up. Stag, Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, Blanton's, et cetera. It's hard to really even tell what a craft bourbon is anymore. But I'll tell you what, Bland's has lived it out. Still a delicious bourbon. Still atop my list, personally. I just don't know if it's an $80 bourbon, though. That's just my thing. Jeff Hansick, Jeff H., I should say, thank you very much for your support via Super Chat, sir. He is JRHAU. Love the brain drains, JGT. Always good stuff. Thank you very much for your support, sir. And you have a proper avatar there. Looks like you have your picture with a Santa Claus hat on. And that's what we should be doing on the bunker. I feel like the bunker all the way through December should have a Santa hat on whatever avatar you have. So in my case, and I didn't do a good job of this year, I always have Alan Green as my avatar. I should put a Santa hat on him. I think he would be an awesome Santa. I happen to think Alan Green is an absolute beast. I think he's great at what he does. I think he's the right AD for Auburn. I have been critical of him in private and on the bunker about how I don't think he leads from the front as much. Because, hell, most of y'all don't even know Alan Green. Like, you don't know much about him. You know he came from Buffalo. You know he's black. You know he played baseball at Notre Dame. That might be just about it. And maybe that he stepped up for Bruce big time when he got here. That's about it. Like, I feel like you guys should know Allen Green. Like, because you guys knew Jay Jacobs. And I think Jay Jacobs is half as good as Allen, my opinion. But sometimes I just feel like Allen should be out there more. And you guys should know him better than you do. Just my opinion. AU Smitty in the house with another super chat. Thank you very much for your support, bro. Very much. He says, great job, JG, from AU Smitty. Thank you very much for that, bro, for your support of what we're doing here on The Brain Drain. Love the Cat says, I have the best Christmas avatar. I don't know that one right off. I usually try to pay attention. For reals. Somebody up here was mentioning they were drinking the sweet wheat. You're really shoving that in my face now. I can't even get any of that. Let's go back up here. This is a great question. Patrick D, I should say. Is Will Wade still coaching? Will Wade is a crook. He was here at VCU also. Hey, man, I am surprised, honestly, that Will Wade is still coaching at LSU. I mean, I feel like they had him, right? Like, he was basically on, well, it was reported by Yahoo Sports, by Pat Forty, that he was on a wiretap essentially coordinating payments to a player. And one thing led to another, and I was like, this dude's not going to be employed there. They suspended him last year, if you remember that. But it's all good. He's fine now, and I'm just shocked. I don't really know how that happened. But I'm not a lawyer. So what do I know? Declan Y says, we are lucky to have Alan G. There's a lot of people on the bunker who are not fans of Allen, and I think it's because there is, on the bunker, a lot of disdain toward Gus for reasons that I find mostly reasonable. I mean, it is frustrating. Gus is a frustrating coach. I think it's tough to get behind him because he gets in these weird ruts, and I think he did it again in the Outback Bowl. He definitely did it. Remember at LSU a couple years ago was the worst, but he tends to get in these weird ruts, and it's frustrating. I get it, man. And you guys are on the bunker and bitching about it, and I don't even really say much because I'm like, yeah, you're pretty much right about that. I mean, seriously. And when I met Gus this summer, me and my wife did, and we were talking with Gus kind of one-on-one or whatever, 2-on-1 or whatever. I was like, dude, it does seem like you get in these weird ruts, right? I mean, we could talk about that, honestly. And I don't want to get into what he said or whatever because he kind of like, this off the record. But I did bring it up. And I got an answer. I'm not saying it's a great answer, but he had an answer to that. I'll just leave it at that. AU Law 20 says Baker's is very solid. It is delicious. It looks like it's in a wine bottle, but it's tasty. Not going to argue about that. The Canoe Man says Pat Forty is trash. Pat Forty is a terrific writer. If you have problems with his reporting, I don't really have a comment on that. He's a good reporter. Sometimes I do think he writes things. I think he's trying to I think in his current role, he's kind of more of a gotcha guy. He's into gotcha journalism a little bit, but he's good. I knew Pat a long time ago. I looked up to Pat when I was a student at Kentucky. He was like the ace columnist at the Louisville paper. All I wanted to do at that point in my life was be an employee at the Louisville Courier-Journal. It's like all I wanted to do. And then in 2004 or 5, I think, I got a job offer at Louisville, and I didn't take it. I didn't feel good about it. Anyway, Pat is now a national guy with Yahoo Sports, and they have obviously I work for Rivals, or I have a partnership with Rivals, I should say. And that's a Yahoo thing, so I don't want to talk too much junk about Pat, but I understand why you're upset with him, and I'll leave it at that. Patrick says it's BS. Will Wade should be in jail. Don't know about jail, but I do have questions about why he's the head coach at LSU, but we'll let that go. Huntsville Tiger 34 says, disdain for Gus? No. Yeah, I understand. Jeff C says the offense is a work in progress. No doubt. Patrick Duke says, make no mistake, Pat Forty is no B-Mat. Speaking of that, we need to get B-Mat on the horn. I'm doing that right now. Sorry. B-Mat texted me a little while ago, and he was like, hey, man, I'm ready. And I was like, oh, shit, my bad. I'm just sitting here babbling. Let's get B-Mat on the horn. That's what Tiger says. Just say it. You own rivals. Not exactly. Boom, boom, boom.
What is up?
B Matt and the Hizzle. What up, B Matt?
Oh, not much. Just chatting out some dinner, watching the Bills and Texans here, trying to win this football game.
Word. Look at you, man. What'd y'all have tonight?
We had tacos. It was taco night.
Mm.
But it was just me. It's just me and Vaughn. All the kids are gone. So.
Oh, that's like that's set the tone for what's going to happen in a couple years, brother.
I know. We're just getting used to it.
Yeah, me too. I got one going out here in a minute. Actually, I'm going to be childless before you are, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. Because yep. He's just in 10th grade, so you know.
I know. I know who she is. I know her. All right. So this victory, there were some people in the bunker, B Matt, that were like trying to get it ahead of the curve about 5 minutes in and saying Auburn was going to suck.
I'm glad we're starting with the bunker because I can't believe that people still post stupid stuff like this. I mean, Javon McCormick can have a couple of turnovers early and then go out and like lead this team to a huge win with a career high 28 points. Denzel Purifoy can look like doo-doo, in the first half and come out in the second half and make 3 or 4 of the biggest shots of the game. I mean, that's basketball. That's what happens. Y'all need to chill out on the board.
Yes, they do need to chill out. Dude, I ended up banning GG32 over that shit, for reals.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, people just need to calm down, There's ups and downs in basketball. There's runs. Other teams make runs. A player can look bad for 5 minutes and then come out and have a career night. So just got to chill out.
Yeah, I don't know why. People think – I think they've been infected by Gus a little bit. Like, they think everybody's going to be like Gus.
Yeah, that happens too.
We have a request from the chat that says, B-Matt, please give us details of the ride back from Tampa with Jason Caldwell.
Oh, I mean, it was always a good ride. I mean, the first thing that we were thinking, and we had been talking about it for the last 3 days because being in Tampa for a week, especially when you don't have any interviews, after Sunday until the game, we're just dying. So we were just talking about as quick as we can get out there and get in the car and get home, we're going. So that's what we did. I mean, I cranked out 2 stories as fast as I could. I drove the first leg, and we were hauling butt, up 75. And, me and Jason have been going on road trips for 15, 20 years now. So, I mean, going to see recruits, going to baseball or basketball or football games, So it's just, what we do, and we always have a good time, always talk shop, talk family, usual stuff. He likes his music a little bit more hardcore than I do, so we switch it up. We'll get a little 70s and 80s when I'm driving, and sometimes he likes to put on what's that channel on Sirius XM? It's sort of that 90s grunge or even heavy metal stuff. He likes to listen to that some too. So.
Oh man, it slips my mind right now. Yeah, he definitely likes the grunge a little bit more.
Yeah. Like that lithium.
Yeah, I mentioned we were driving to Georgia a couple years ago, and I was like, "Yo, let's listen to some Motley Crue," and you were like, "Nah, I'm not really into that anymore."
yeah, that's true.
I was like, "What? That's BS." All right, so obviously Jay Vaughn has the best game he's had as an Auburn Tiger. Comes at a great time. Talk about just the game he had, the way he kind of pulled himself out after having a tough first 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yeah, and he made some really tough, difficult shots, driving the lane. Doing those little one-handed pull-ups and floaters and, had some nice reverse layups, got some rebounds and putbacks. I mean, he was just all over the place. And, they missed 2 of them on TV. Auburn took 2 or maybe 3 inbounds passes away, and they didn't even have video of it. Or I didn't see it. They missed them. And, I think he was involved in some of that too. And I just thought, I just thought he was outstanding. Just kept it together, made the big shots, and Auburn had to make the big shots. Down the stretch, made a lot of good free throws there. I know Auburn was 12 of 14 in the final 2.5 minutes, which was big.
Huge.
And you also had those 4 rebounds and 4 assists.
Yeah, he was outstanding. There's been a lot of talk on the show, be mad about Isaac and just how damn fast he is, how skilled he is. Talk about what you think he might be by the time they get to March.
Well, when I think about that, I just think how tough and physical he is first, and he is very skilled and fast too. But he made some big plays. I mean, when he goes in for a layup or a dunk, it's really hard to defend that because he gets elevated so much and he's so powerful. And you saw that a couple of times. I know we had one fast break dunk where I thought the defender was going to, go for it. He sort of backed off there in the end, I think, because he saw what Isaac was fixing to do to him. I think Isaac, if I'm not mistaken, led the team in minutes, or him and Dowdy both had 34 minutes, and that's a freshman playing his first conference game on the road.
Yeah.
And, shooting over 50%, making his free throws, leading the team in rebounds, as a three. That just tells you what type of player he is. Just relentless on the boards, shooting, rebounding, defending, doing it all. And the other thing you got to point out is Samir Dowdy didn't shoot all that great, but still had 15 points. But as Bruce Pearl said in the post game, he basically held Tyson Carter, who was averaging over 15 points a game, tied for the team leading scoring, to just 4 points on 1 of 11 shooting. Now that was a great job by Samir Dowdy. I mean, I know McCormick's your MVP, but Dowdy's probably your MVP part 2 because that was one heck of a defensive job he did.
Yeah, man, free throw shooting, just in general. I mean, Auburn's had some trouble with it this year. They go 21 of 30 at the line, 70%. Right. That's on par with what they did last year. And, I mean, obviously that was a winning solution last year, so that was huge. I mean, Vaughn, 8 of 11.
Yeah, and they were 9 of, 16 before, the big stretch there. In the last 2.5 minutes, 12 of 14. Just terrific. And, of course, Vaughn made some. Isaac made some. I think Samir may have made some down the stretch too. But just a great job there. And what about Austin Wiley? 5 block shots,
Yeah, huge.
He got 10 points, only had 5 rebounds, but Auburn rebounded really well from the guards positions and the forward position, so he didn't have to, get in there and get 12 rebounds. But, he was big. It's just a team win, I think, Bruce Pearl said in the game, and I agree with him.
You got to give Austin credit, man. He couldn't go more than 2 minutes without fouling last year, and now in this game right here, 23 minutes, 2 fouls, and I mean they only want him to play 20 to 25 minutes anyway. So I mean he has adjusted his game big time, and it helps them so much, Yeah,
and he's got a nice touch on that little baby hook he does inside. Got a little range on that too, and that's a really effective shot. He's not a really quick elevator, so he's got to do different things to get his shot off against a bigger defender like he was facing tonight.
Let's take a look at the schedule coming up, B-Matt. They've got Vanderbilt at home in the next game. You're probably feeling like Auburn can win that one, right?
Yes, absolutely, especially at home, especially the way they're playing now. I think they'll have a lot of confidence. I think, if they come out in the right mindset, that's a team I think they could probably jump on early. And then they got Georgia next weekend at home. And I believe Georgia went on the road and beat a really good Memphis team.
They did.
And Georgia's playing really well right now, so that should be a really fun game and really 2 exciting teams to watch. I think that'll be a great matchup.
That'll be pretty big right there, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, B-Matt, I appreciate you being part of the show, bro.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you.
I do want to mention that Auburn alumni mentioned earlier that he thought that Bruce was kind of like Jurgen Klopp in that he's a really special coach that gets players really motivated, and Jurgen Klopp is the same kind of guy, a really special coach. Do you see some similarities there?
I would 100% agree. I was listening to a podcast about Jurgen earlier today. One thing a guy said is every player that comes in under Klopp for Liverpool has gotten better. He just does a great job of making his guys better, improving them in all facets of the game. And I think Bruce Pearl does the same thing. I think Bruce Pearl makes players better, finds what weaknesses and works on them and gets them better. And this whole staff deserves credit for that too, because I know they all work hard on different things. And, you look after this game, Purefoy had really, really big plays in the second half. But when Pearl was asked about it, he's like, Angel's got to do better, not just depend on the 3-point shooting, and that kind of thing. So, he's always thinking about what his players can do better.
Yeah. He's a beast.
Yep.
All right, B-Matt. Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to holler at you here on Tuesday. We're going to do a little voodoo action, all right?
Oh, yes. Can't wait.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Later.
See you, man. That's B-Matt. He is a many things. Mr. B-Matt. Absolutely. Let me check up with the The chat here. Canoe Man says, that's awesome. We were talking about Jason Caldwell earlier, who's a friend of Brian and I's. We love Jason Caldwell. Says JC is a really good dude. Absolutely. I love Jason Caldwell. He works for the competition, but I love him. I've been working around that guy for 22 years now, something like that. And I know his daughter, I know his wife. I just think a lot of Jason. I'm just lucky to know him. And there's times when I try to be a better person, working on the things that I need to work on personally. And Jason's always really cool about chatting about it. He's just a really special person. Let's see. Stoop Up says, ESPN production of SEC Network basketball leaves a lot to be desired. Honestly, I listen to Andy and Coach Sonny, so I don't know. I love Andy. Coached at Ole Miss, Andy Kennedy. I think he's as good as they get. I don't really know a lot past that because I don't listen to the shows. I know Andy personally. He and Dari. And I think a lot of those guys, but I don't really pay attention beyond that. Love the Cat says, please no soccer talk this show. Like we do it a lot or anything. Shit, my team is so bad in the Premier League, and his team, BMAT's team, is Liverpool. They're so good. I don't even talk anything. Anyway, J. Rob AU says, did anybody see one of the 3 under basket steals? I know Samir had one. I'm assuming Javon had another one. I didn't see 3, though. Stoop Up says, I think TV missed all 3. Okay, well, there we go. That's why I missed it. Let's see what else we got. Auburn alumni says, Klopp and Pearl are 2 of the GOATs. As a Man United fan, I'm supposed to hate Liverpool, and I kind of do, but BMAT was liking Liverpool back when Liverpool was shitty. And so I respect the fact that they're good now. And, they're way better than my team. So, I can't really hate. Let's see. Adam S. says, JGT brain drain from voodoo in the future. I have not thought about that. There's not an easy way to do brain drain from the voodoo. We do a taped podcast there because we're all sitting around a table. And it's hard to get, I don't even know how you would get a video of all of us sitting around a table. And I don't know if you'd want to see that. I know you don't want to see me just sitting here jabbering either, but I don't know how that would work from an IT perspective. Auburn alumni says, Bammer blew a 20-point lead against Florida. Sorry, Rye. No, I know you're not upset about that. I'm just saying. Let's see what else we got. D. Stutzman says Andy K is spectacular in his opinion. Hope he never takes another coaching job because he's great on TV. I was talking to Andy at the Final Four last year. I think it was the Final Four. And he was like, hey, man, I really like to get back into coaching. I really enjoy the TV stuff, but I think my future is in coaching. And then, so I thought that he would get a job during the offseason, whenever the coaching carousel fired up, and then it didn't happen. And first of all, I agree with you completely. I think he's as good as it gets on TV. Sometimes he has a really dry delivery that I think maybe some people don't get, but I get it. And he knows more about basketball than just about anybody on the show. So I think Andy Kennedy's awesome. And I hope that he doesn't get a job just so that I get to listen to him as an analyst for the next 20 years or whatever. He's awesome. Canoe Man says, listening to the Auburn Network while viewing the ESPN video is the proper way to watch. That's how I do it. Believe me. When I'm not there, I'm listening to Andy and Coach Sonny. If I'm at the arena, I'm not. I'm usually sitting courtside taking pictures and just trying to figure it out for myself. And then I talk to Coach Sonny at halftime and then usually after the game if I've got a minute or two. I happen to think Sonny Smith's as good as it gets on the color. I know some of you guys get a little annoyed because he tells some colloquial stories about Roan Mountain a lot. Tonight he was talking some shit about how somebody missed a call in a game and his dad wanted to shoot him or something. He goes off on these tangents and Andy's always like, all right, coach, good story. And Andy's a lot different than Rod. If you guys, I've listened to a whole lot of Rod broadcasts, and first of all, rest in peace. We all miss Rod. He's a great broadcaster, but Andy, I always felt like Rod was a football guy first. Andy's a basketball guy first, and his calls are great. Sometimes he bugs me a little bit he just rides so much ass about certain calls. if he feels like there's 3 calls that go against Auburn in a row, you can kind of hear him starting to yell. And I think he wants to get heard by the officials. He's so close to the officials. He wants the officials to hear him bitching about the calls. That's not my favorite part of what he does. But he is a very spirited caller, and I think you guys should listen to him if you have a chance. And he's really good. Stoop Up says, Andy is the basketball version of Chiswick? I like him more now than I did when he was coaching. Interesting. Okay. Scott Blank, last name redacted. I like that. Says, I like Sonny. And then TD says, Sonny's a national treasure. Canoe Man says, Sonny's the absolute best. It's not even close. There's going to be a day coming up. I don't know if it's 2 years or 5 years or 6 months. I don't know. When Sonny's not going to be on the show anymore. And it's going to suck because Sonny's the best. Sonny is the best color analyst in America. If you go in knowing his biases and you can kind of block out for that, he's the best there is. Because he really does know what he's talking about. And his insights are great. Sonny's the best. And the thing is that Sonny Smith in real life is a really good dude. He gives a shit. Like, really. Love Sonny. He's terrific. TD says absolutely phenomenal. TD also says it's taken Andy a while to get used to Sonny. I think so. Sonny sometimes gets a little more open, maybe than Andy's used to. Particularly when Sonny's talking about his dad, and then Andy's like, okay, appreciate you, coach. It's pretty funny. Stoop Up says, Andy's really good at basketball, and he was really on the officials in the first 8 minutes today. Shit, man, he was on them the whole day. He was killing Orlando's Pool, though, in the first half. And I thought Orlando's Pool was missing a lot of chances to call some fouls that were there. Particularly the elbow to the face of Javon, with like 30 seconds left in the first half. Like, what the hell? He was staring right at it. He didn't call it. I was like, what? Anyway. Chris S. says, I don't like Stan White on the football radio broadcast. LOL, he annoys me. I happen to be a big fan of Stan White, too, for different reasons. He doesn't make me laugh, but Stan's generally pretty good on that. Yeah, I thought Andy was like solid on the football broadcasts. I happen to love Stan. I think he brings a lot to it, but I can see why he's a little bit annoying. They get a little bit. I think Andy just in general he cries about calls a little bit too much. And maybe in football it's more annoying than it is in basketball. I don't know. Love the Cat says Drunk Sonny is the best Sonny. I don't know as though I've ever seen Drunk Sonny. Jeff C. also said, love Coach Smith. He took the time to take a pic with my boys last weekend. Jeff, I'm not trying to lamp on your behalf, but you were really close to the court last week against Lipscomb. The game against Lipscomb. Yeah. Spread Attack U18 says, them damn officials were crazy in the first half. I know, man. They were all over the place, but I got to give them credit. They were consistent. They were really, really lax in the first 10 minutes, both against Auburn and MSU, and then they got tight both against Auburn and MSU. As long as it's the same, I don't bitch about it too much. And that's actually something I learned from Tuberville. His dad was an official back in the Arkansas High School Athletic Association, and actually it was him and Houston Nutt's dad, as I recall. I'm not sure. But anyway, I know Tuberville's dad was like big-time official, and he was always like, I talk a lot of shit about officials, but they know at the end of the day I got their back. And I was like, I don't know as though they know that. Oh, man. Grindworks Entertainment says, how long do you think Bruce Pearl is going to be at Auburn? Honestly, at this point, I think he's going to go to the distance. I mean, if a job like Kentucky came along and wanted BP, I think he would go. But I just don't think that a job like Kentucky is going to come along for him. I think Auburn's a good spot for him. He's got Auburn going in the right direction. They got to the Final Four. He's recruiting well here. They pay him well here. He knows the athletic director's got his back. The arena is solid. The support's really good. There's a lot of money around. It's a good spot for him. And I think he knows that. And I just think at this point in his career, I think he's good here. I think he can do the damage. I just don't see a big, like if he got a North Carolina or Kentucky or a Duke or a Kansas, he might go, but I just don't think those teams are going to want him. if there, someday there will be a change at Duke, and they're gonna they're gonna be turned off by BP. I'm not saying it's right, but they're gonna be turned off, and I think it's bullshit. But whatever. Anyway, TD says, you think Andy's bad on the refs? Rod was way worse. No, Rod was tough on them. I'm not gonna lie about it, but Andy's like literally screaming about it, and I don't know. That puts me off a little bit, but in general, I think Andy's really good. I just think that he cries a little too much about the calls, and Rod definitely cried about the calls too. And that was my criticism of Rod too. I enjoy both of them on the radio, honestly. The Canoe Man says, I disagree. Rod rode them like crazy. However, Andy is next level. Okay, so we agree on that one. I think Andy's a little past Rod on that. Love the Cat says, Stan White reminds me of Troy Aikman in the booth. Cowboys fans whine about Troy. I never liked the Cowboys very much, so I'm kind of biased on that. I don't watch a lot of NFL, though. I don't even know who's playing tonight. Somebody said the Titans are playing. I hope the Titans win. Huntsville Tiger 34 says, I'm shocked how, frankly, how well BP recruits at Auburn. Yeah, he's really busted his ass, dude, and at this point, man, it's pretty much 4- and 5-star guys that they're going after, and they get. Yeah. Huntsville Tiger says Duke will go with a Duke grad. God, I hope not. I'm gonna tell you, man. So my daughter, she does well in school, and she went to Duke for a visit last summer. It was really tough for me to go because I hate Duke. As a UK graduate myself, I hate Duke. I've always hated Duke. Earlier in my life, I was a Louisville fan because my dad is a Louisville graduate. My mom worked at the library at Louisville, and Duke beat Louisville in the 86 Final Four. No, shit, it was the 85 Final Four. And it made me hate Duke right there. I've hated Duke as a Louisville fan earlier in my life, and now I hate Duke as a UK graduate later in life. But Duke was a pretty cool campus. I'm not going to lie about it. Now, I wouldn't let Maddie apply there. I mean, let's be real. But it was a nice campus. It was nice. I'm not going to lie about it. Let's see. Huntsville Tiger says Titans versus Patriots. Is that the game tonight? I hope the Titans win. I'm sick of the Patriots. Yeah. All right, so we'll pretty much wrap it up there, guys. My vision was that the basketball shows would go an hour and a half at best, maybe an hour. We'll see what happens. So we got the SEC schedule here. We'll take one last look at the box score. And we pretty much dissected this to as far as we can go. But Vaughn was terrific after a really rough first 5 minutes. Samir was good. Isaac was a pain in the ass for Mississippi State from start to finish. 8 rebounds at the small forward position is incredible. The bench was not very good. And the defense was the catalyst that got them going when the offense was absolutely in the shitter the first 8 to 10 minutes. Hell, it was probably the first 12 minutes. They were 2 of 13 at one point from the floor. And, I mean, you're like, damn. I mean, I could shoot that, right? Defense got it going, got some stuff in transition. Vaughn stepped up. D'Angelo stepped up. Isaac stepped up. Boom. You get a victory right there. 80-68 in a game where they shoot 5 of 22 from 3. And I think a lot of that's because Auburn fights every fucking minute. That's what Auburn does. That's what BP teaches them to do, and they're just used to it now. He's been here so long, these kids have known nothing but BP, and they're fighters. And they fight. When I said a bad word, I'm sorry. Joker says, who blew up the toilet before the presser yesterday? Dude, that Auburn truly does its press conferences in a toilet. Like it's like the offshoot of a toilet, I guess. But the toilet's been off limits for like 6 months, so I don't think anybody used it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Canoe Man says, thanks for doing the show, JGT. Well done. Jeff C says, thanks, JGT. See you Wednesday night. Jeff, man, I appreciate you, bro. You know how I feel about you. Before we go, I do want to give a big, huge shout out To our super chatters, Hornatius let it off. BP Rockman. Joker had a twofer on that one. Really 989. Stoop Up. Nick Stample, my guy, Nick Stample. AU Civil, huge AU Civil. Declan Y. BP Rockman for a second time. And Canoe Man, thank you very much for your support of the show. You guys are the best, seriously. I do this for you guys. I love everybody who's on the show, everybody who chats. Love the super chatters on another level. Also, our callers, BP Rockman, Ruxpin, Why Not, AU, Auburn alumni, AU Rockstar, who was on very short period of time. What was he on, 30 seconds? Maybe a minute. Joker coming on, even though he knew he was going to get shit upon, he came on, and it's appreciated. Way to be, man. I think that's a classy bunker member right there, in my opinion. AU Storm 20 and Huntsville Tiger 34. Also, BMAT for jumping on the show late. Let's see. TD says, just finished dinner at Starkville in the car driving back to Alabama. I hope you had a delicious meal in Starkville, bro. We got a late super chat from Joker, his second super chat. No, his third super chat of the day. Huge, man. Awesome. You're the man. Thank you, Joker. Not only for the super chat, but for coming on the show and kind of stepping up and being like, hey, man, I screwed up. I shat upon Vaughn when I shouldn't have, and that's big of you. Thank you for doing that. I mean, I think that's setting the tone. Also, I banned GG32 for his incredibly cold take about the team earlier. I'm going to go ahead and let him out of Chile if you guys are okay with that. Nah, I'm going to do it anyway. He doesn't really deserve to be in jail, but I was kind of fucking with him because I said I was going to ban him if they came back, and they did come back. So I felt like I had to follow through, but I'm going to let GG32 out. Damn, we got some shit going on downstairs. All right, guys. Appreciate you being part of the show. We've got a game again on, Wednesday? It's going to be a late tip, so we're going to have to talk about that a little bit. Let me pull up the schedule here real quick because I'm kind of out of my mind right now. Yeah, late tip, 8 o'clock Central Time against Vanderbilt, which Auburn should cream them, seriously. Don't know how we're going to handle that from a show perspective because that game won't be over till 10 o'clock Central at best, 11 o'clock Eastern. We'll talk about it on the bunker and see what we want to do on that tip. But anyway, appreciate you guys very much for being part of the show, especially our first basketball show of the year. I was worried about how this would go over, but it went over really, really well, and I appreciate you guys so much for being part of the show, calling in, and also super chatting, and just chatting in general. Appreciate you guys. All right, guys. Behave yourselves out there. It's only 7:30 on Saturday, so you got a lot of time to do damage if you need to. I know Ruxpin said he was going to the liquor store to get ready to interface with some ladies. I'm going to go interface with my lady as well, just because that's what I do. She lives here with me. I mean, we've been together since 92. Anyway, guys, appreciate you. See you next time. Peace.